I'm Bill Boner, and this is bad news. The 2020 presidential election is all wrapped up, but Donald Trump is still going raw. Bad news! On Saturday morning, major news outlets projected Joe Biden to be the 46th president of the United States, and liberals are partying like it's 1989. It's a bad sign when people celebrate your departure like it's the end of a world war. That's like dropping off a first Tinder date and then driving home like this. Just minutes after Biden was declared victorious, Trump released a statement saying, Joe Biden is rushing to falsely pose as the winner. But Trump's been claiming victory since 2:30 Wednesday morning.
This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election. So we'll be going to the U.S. Supreme Court. We want all voting to stop. We don't want them to find any ballots at 4 o'clock in the morning and add them to the list.
After we worked so hard to hide them. Later that day, Trump's lawyer and Mortal Kombat contestant, Rudy Giuliani, made an appearance in Pennsylvania to back up the president's claims of voter fraud.
President Trump has won Pennsylvania. I've never heard of a count where you're ahead by 400,000 with 80+% counted, and they haven't called it for you yet. Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
I mean, have you seen Borat? As usual, the president's conspiracy theory ranting sent his followers into a frenzy, and they took to the streets to unveil the truth.
We are not prepared to give that number now.
The Biden crime family stealing the election. The media's covering up. The Biden crime family stealing this election. The media's covering up. The Biden crime family stealing this election. The media's covering up. We want our freedom for the world. Give us our freedom, Joe Biden. Joe Biden's covering up this election. He's stealing it.
Where were we? What was the last question?
Biden crime family sounds like a Netflix docuseries about outlaw grandpas who sell stolen Werthers to nursing homes. All right, here's the deal. You get 2 boxes a month, and from now on, Jack, you vote blue. The Trump campaign has been filing numerous lawsuits in multiple battleground states. But just like Trump, many of those cases are being thrown out.
Legal challenges in Georgia and Michigan have already been thrown out because of a lack of evidence. The Trump campaign had attempted to stop the vote count due to allegations of fraudulent activity.
You get to the court of law, you got to provide evidence. And the case that they brought in Michigan was summarily rejected by the judge. He said, you don't have any evidence. It was based on a posted note. I'm not kidding. On a posted note with an unsigned note saying, they're telling me to change the addresses.
Also submitted as evidence in that case were thumbtacks, red string, and Polaroid pictures. Just before the election was called on Saturday, Trump tweeted, I won this election by a lot. After Biden was declared winner minutes later, Rudy Giuliani again slithered out of the shadows to hiss menacingly at American voters.
As a friend of mine says, I don't believe in conspiracies, but I also don't believe in coincidences. Kind of funny that all Republicans were rejected here, and it amounts to about, just about the 700,000 votes that President Trump was ahead by 2 days ago that disappeared. And we have no way of knowing, because we were deprived of the right to inspect, if a single one of those ballots is legitimate.
And nothing screams legitimacy like a guy shouting conspiracy theories in front of a loading dock in North Philly. It has now been days since Biden was declared winner, but Trump is still refusing to concede. At this point, even if every battleground state was recounted, it's clear that Biden came out on top. But Trump continues to be a sore bottom.
The GSA, the General Services Administration, oversees the presidential transition. The head of that agency is basically supposed to give the green light to the incoming administration. And so far, the head of the GSA, a Trump appointee, has not done so. This is causing real problems for the transition team.
By now, we've all come to expect this kind of behavior from Trump. So it's no surprise that long after America has finished, he's still trying to jack up his numbers. But on Tuesday, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, seen here laughing at America's hope for the future, showed voters that the GOP itself is refusing to go down.
Is the State Department currently preparing to engage with the Biden transition team? And if not, at what point does a delay hamper a smooth transition or pose a risk to national security?
There will be a smooth transition to a second Trump administration. All right, we're ready.
Georgia is now preparing to do a recount. Trump supporters are sending death threats to ballot counters, and the Trump administration is still filing lawsuits alleging voter fraud. And as baseless as those claims may be, if just one of those cases makes it through to the Supreme Court, Trump and his cronies could simply tell democracy to... I'm Bad News Bill Boner. Bad news!